So you have a change of heart, wanna make a brand new start. You've been living on the edge with forever as a pledge. No more giving it up, turning me loose, setting us free. Baby, keeping it real, cause we got what it takes for sure. There's no turning back anymore. Can you see it's all a game? Life goes on all the same. If at first you don't succeed, all you've got is all you need. If you believe, then stake your claim.
Hello, 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 Rise and Thrivers. How is everybody to this amazing Monday? What is it, July 7th? Holy cow, July 7th, our first Monday in July for 2025, and we are Rise and Thrive together. So welcome, welcome. We've got a new topic, a new theme, some new guests, but your same old hosts. So just in case you want to know who we are and what we're about, we are Rise and Thrive together. We are a committed community out to educate and empower you and equip you to have the results that you want through real talk, taking real actions. And I'm just really excited to start right away with my sister from another mister and my special co-host, Raquel. Hey, Raquel, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yes?
Yeah. Yes. All good. All good.
Okay, great. So welcome everyone to July. And I hope you all had a great and safe 4th of July weekend. How was your weekend, sis?
It was great. It was a busy weekend. We know I've been doing a lot of traveling. This weekend was a great weekend in Tampa, being with our chosen family. Special shout out to my Pat Reynolds mod. She turned 80, and what a weekend it was, being with her family who flew in, and her daughter, who's been my best friend for 45 years, and my godchildren. But her friends said she'd love it, because here's the deal. They all go weekly, almost twice a week out together. This huge community. There was over 80 people there, and they dance, they sing. Pat is still a Zumba
Wow.
student. So was a blast. It was super, super a lot of fun. The weather was beautiful. And 4th of July held out for us. So we tried to find fireworks. We didn't, but we just had a good time trying to find fireworks.
Very good, very good. I didn't do much. I was relaxing. So that's always nice when you get to relax.
Yes, yes.
Well, I should share. Can I share something
Please.
about Sunday
Yes.
and what I did Sunday?
What?
So Sunday, I had the incredible opportunity to spend 2 hours with one of our, Reg and I, our one of our favorite people, I guess. Opportunity to spend time with the Amazon #1 bestseller for Whispers in the Rain author. I got to spend time with him, which was absolutely incredible. Having the opportunity to be a guest on his podcast. Reg was a guest earlier the week before, and we'll keep you updated as to when our episodes are going to be available so that you can give a listen. But such an incredible time. It's so different being a guest on someone's podcast and hosting. So shout out to Hal. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Incredible conversation. He brought up some stuff that I had forgotten about, and I'm not going to share specifics because listen to the podcast. But absolutely amazing and incredible. And thank you so much, Hal. I really had a good time just chatting with you. This is kind of, we're always doing stuff. We spent 2 hours on there.
Yes.
So thank you again to Hal on this amazing accomplishment, but one of many to come. He'll be in Times Square doing a book signing, and he'll be on the Times Square board. Like, I'm so stoked to see photos of that. Like, that's so cool.
Right.
So for all those that are in the New York area, if you purchased his book, go get it signed. Reg, what's the date? Do you know the date? I don't know if you know location.
Here's what I'm going to say to people. Real simple. Go to haleisenberg.com. Right? It's like real simple. I don't have the dates in front of me. I want to say the book signing is possibly tomorrow or the 10th. I can't remember. But if you go onto haleisenberg.com, you can get all the information. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and you'll get everything that you need. And you know what? When the show's over, I'll be posting some stuff, or while we're doing the show, I can even post some stuff into the chat and put it up there for you all. But yeah, super excited, so anybody who's in New York or easily able to get to Times Square, we'll have that happen. Super cool. And, Cal will be a guest coming up later on toward the end of the year. So pretty exciting for that one. And I'm really excited to go and say it's episode 114 on this Monday, July 7th. And the topic that we are doing for the full month, the theme is what I'm going to say, is turning setbacks into setups. And as always, we'll start off the month with the two of us. And sis, hopefully, I'd love for you to, not hopefully, but I'm going to ask you, start us off because we really spent time together planning out the rest of the year. And we kind of dove into, after we had this great leading out loud in June, and from the whole theme for a few months on communication, that we came up with setbacks into setups. And we have got some great guests coming on next week and the week after. But what do you want to share with, our community here about when we say setbacks into setups?
Well, I'm so excited about this topic because we're talking about something that everyone's experienced, right? We've all been there. We're flat on our faces. Our plans are ruined, and we feel like the universe forgot about us or hit pause, right? As far as our dreams. But again, we learned from Quran that our vision, it never fails, right? But here's something. If we told you that setbacks might actually be a setup for a comeback, what would you say to that? This month of July, we are going to flip the script, thing called failure, because sometimes taking a detour to your vision is a success. It's just in how you see it. Why am I stumbling and bumbling over my words today?
It's a setback, but it's never, ever, ever going to stop you because it's setting you up for the most powerful conversation. I love this topic. I honestly met with two of really great friends of mine and mentors of mine, and we have this conversation about that. Just in case you guys don't know a little bit of some of the things I do, I'm on a leadership team. Love it. The company is Herd Ventures. And we've just do a lot of business growth and development work for people, for startup businesses, and even businesses that are ready to take their business to the next level, or kind of in a setback, right? Like they're in that setback. They've done what they've done. They've hit a roadblock, or they, just feel stuck. So that was a conversation today. And how can we see that as a setup for something even greater? And we've talked about this for 2 years now, guys. We've had this show for 2 years, and we've talked about how, your quote unquote setback or something that, isn't working the way you want it to, that failure really is working for you, not against you. And so I love that, we had this conversation for about 2 hours at lunch today. And I'll give you just my personal experience, because being, in a group and in a team and being held accountable for the things that we're out to help businesses with. Some team members, are dealing with stuff. Sometimes we get sick. Sometimes, something happens that sets us back. But the setup is perfect, because during that time where there might be a little lull, there is that opportunity to really look at the things that you might have just overstepped. I don't care what anybody said, even no matter how perfectionist, which we know nothing is perfect, there is like, hey, we had this event was going to start, something happened, we had to push it off for a week or two. And during that week or two, because we have a team, and that's what really makes things work well inside a team, we were able to look at, while that person was getting better and doing what they needed to do, what are some of the things that we didn't cross our T's on or dot our I's. So it just helped us all kind of set up for a more incredible experience, right? More of an, now, did it feel that way at that moment? No, it didn't, right? Everybody was set up, people registered. So to, have to cancel something, but we didn't cancel anything. We rescheduled. And with that, for our experience and other people who have been in other events that we've done, was like, yeah, I've been to this. I've kind of attended some of your things that are like this before. This was something even better. What happened? And so we were able to like kind of talk about that today, being able to say like, wow, that setback set us up to really powerfully have everything in order so it can move smoothly. Everybody can participate. There were people who didn't get, the information, the lot, all of that, right? It's just those little things that, people don't know behind the scenes, like Raquel and I doing the show. It was really beautiful. Does it feel that great during that moment? No. But what I'm going to share is that strategy, because we want to set you up for, success, is for me is community, having a team. And so we are a team that have, went through a training program for 2 years. And so we are all leaders and we meet weekly. And now we're at this point during the summer, it's a little less, but constantly in communication, constantly looking at the events that we do and ensuring that everybody who registers, everybody who's coming gets value even more and has everything that they need. I don't know about you guys out there and you, sis, but how many times have you registered for something and then they say it's going to be in the mailbox and it's not, and you reach out to the company and there's, nothing, then the day comes and it's like an hour before and, you spent money and maybe you get it 5 minutes beforehand, but there is sort of that taste in your mouth going, it took all that time. I just wonder at the end of the day, is this like a company I still want to stay with? So thoughts on what, anybody who's ever experienced out there, love to know your feedback if you've ever experienced that. And again, it's not a right or a wrong, but if there is something to look at, there is something to look at out of professionalism and especially value. So that's what I'm going to say.
Well, I'll say it definitely has happened to me where I was scheduled for an event and I did not get the link. And I'm like, what is going on? Why was this not sent the day before? Why are you doing it an hour prior to the event? Long story short, I never got the link. I contacted the host. She got back to me after the event had ended to say, hey, I was already on the call. And I'm like, whatever. Because how much time am I going to dedicate to just being upset because she didn't go according to my schedule, right? She didn't get back to me once she was already in the room speaking to the participants. So it was kind of one of those things where I just was like, and I scheduled to attend the workshop with someone else because she had something way later to do it then. And that was it. I got the person that I got because that's who I
Nice.
take the workshop with. So I didn't spend a whole lot of time being upset. I could have, but why? I really wanted to attend this workshop. So let me get busy and get into another one. So that doesn't fill. Person sent it out a week before they shared the link different times. So yeah, I got in. End result is I got what I wanted, which was to attend the workshop. And that's the point of it. So, that the workshop I missed, I don't know. I got to go to sleep because it was late for me because that person was like in England. So I got to go to bed earlier than I anticipated. Now that like at 10 p.m. My is relative, but that's early for me. I'm still working on getting 8 hours sleep. Okay. Just bear with me.
Hey, you're still taking action. You're still holding yourself accountable. You're still making it happen. And it's never, it's when we stop, right? It's when we stop. So you're noticing it, you're bringing it to your attention. And there's the perfect example, though. I love the whole setback because, you got exactly what you needed, exactly what you needed. You got to sleep at an earlier time, getting that 8 hour sleep. And you got exactly the person that's meant. That person was organized, had you really ready, reminders and all. And again, nothing, we don't want to judge what's happening, what we're talking about. But like at the end of the day, it's very important as you own a business to say, we want to set you up for the workshop that we're providing, making sure you have the value. It's like us being late. We're set for 8 o'clock every Monday night, and setbacks happen. Raquel has had issues. I've had issues. We've dropped. We've been late. Those things happen, and we can make ourselves wrong, make it bad, but no, we continue and we make it happen anyway. And there are many times Raquel and I have talked about this. Don't want to have a spoiler alert, but maybe I'll plant a little curiosity seed that when we go on later and we stay on later, there tends to be more people on, and it's an interesting dynamic. Some new people, new faces, comments, questions that we might have never heard before. So it's all perception. As long as you are in communication. Ooh, I love this, Susan. But before we go into Susan, as long as you're in communication and really continuing to honor your word, right? Like you said, what you were going to do. So let's see what Susan says. Rack, you want to read it?
Sure. Thinking about the phrase setback, something happens that takes you off your trajectory. That requires attention, course correction, adding in or taking out. Setback implies going backwards, wrong, etc. Since we do mindset, maybe course correction or another word that's more.
Ooh, I love it. Great insight, Susan. Great insight. All perspective, right? We literally use the word setback intentionally. Chose that word setback intentionally. And that's what came for you, right? That word brought up for you something that, yes, absolutely. Something happens that takes you off that course, right? Talking about an opportunity to see what course correction, like I was saying about the team that we were working, that I'm working with. And for you, setback is a backward moment that also adds in that there's something wrong. For me, when I had my thing with Raquel, like Raquel went to her event, she wasn't upset. She was like, great. She's like, okay, I just haven't any intention to register what I registered for. For me, when that happened to me, I did make that wrong. I did make me have a prejudgment thinking about, is this the company that I want to work with, since I didn't get the information, because I know how I set things up, right? So there's that sort of judging, there's sort of that back and forth. But again, that's my mindset work. That's the stuff that I needed to work on and look at myself, where Raquel was like, okay, this didn't work out. I'm going anyway. So I'm going to be in communication anyway. And they set her up. So all perspective, and I love it. Just everybody thinks differently. But here's Ellen, who's going to give us her perspective. Not making it just a business, an authentic product that you actually care about. That makes you effective. That ultimately is successful in every aspect. So I love it, right? Ellen's talking about when we're talking about a business, when people are in communication, right? We are a product, rise and thrive together. We care about being here and supporting conversations and messages that we feel are important to us and to others, right? And that makes us effective. I love it, Ellen. She goes, the setback is ooh, she's hot tonight. The setback is your jumping board foundation. Your jumping board foundation. What is
I
that for
like
you,
that.
sis, when you hear that? What is that? What do you hear when you see that? I do too. What comes to you when you hear that? Well, you read that.
It goes back to what I said in the beginning. A setback is a setup for a comeback. All it is. That's how I see it. So Ellen said
Yeah.
setback is your jumping board foundation. Yeah, that's the foundation. It doesn't mean that's the end all be all. That's where you are. And it just, different people perceive it just different ways. For me, it's about asking yourselves, and I want to know what you guys think about this, what the audience thinks about this. What is this here to teach me? Instead of why is this? So has anyone ever asked themselves, what is this here to teach me? Meaning a setback. What is it here to teach me? Why is this happening to me? It's kind of like everybody thinks, oh, life is happening to me instead of life is happening for me. Simple change of one word changes the entire perception towards the statement. So again, I'm asking, what is this here to teach me? How many of you see it that way, that setbacks do something? And the other day that was really interesting for me, it was talking about challenges that we face and how we grow through challenges. Instead of we go through challenges, we grow through them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so true. I'm always telling my students, challenges come to grow you. They change the way you think. They change the way you behave. When you face a challenge, you've got to, some people get really creative to get past that challenge. So I just find it just interesting.
Absolutely. I wish we don't get to connect beforehand. Downstairs on my refrigerator, I was at an event for children and families, and it was a communication one. So it was just, they had a lot of resources. And on the refrigerator are ways that parents can speak to their children differently, right? So, rather than, I wish you said it like perfectly, but I wish I can remember one of them, which is like, like, stop doing this, right? Which just sounds very like, for a child, feeling like Susan was saying, making them wrong. You could say, um, what can we do? Do you need help in? Do you need help in cleaning your room? Rather than stop, making a mess and clean up your room. So it's just those switch of words that make things very, very different. And it was super helpful because Josh and I were looking through them and we're like, oh, we say this. So we have it there and we switch it, and it's flow. It's flow and ease. It becomes so much easier. So you're right. Language and the way we say things and the words we use. We've said this before, and the words we use do impact people in different ways. And we can't be mind readers. Everybody has a different perception, but I definitely feel like the way we say things, and like you were saying, the way you can perceive it. So I love your perception. It's what I call like a higher vibration way of looking at things. It's an empowering way of looking at things. And that, to me, will have things flow much easier. I'm interested in seeing what, we got on the chat here. What else we got on this one? Ellen is saying a suggestion other than a put down. Ooh, I love that, Ellen. A suggestion rather than a put down, the way Raquel was speaking. And kind. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Our language other than a put down, and being more kind. And Genevieve, thanks for coming in. Because Genevieve is saying language is important when we are speaking and our words. And then she says, and my face. And Genevieve and I had a conversation this morning when we're talking about language. We are very expressive, her and I. Those who know me, those who know, Raquel knows me. I cannot play poker. I do not have that, poker face. I am very self-expressed and I own that and I love that about myself. So yes, Genevieve, agreed. And Susan is writing in, and if I look at it as an opportunity for a course correction, I ask myself, perfect, Susan, what's missing? The presence of which would make a difference, because words create our world. Absolutely. I love that. So for her, that setback is a course correction, and she can ask herself, hey, what's missing? The presence of which would make a difference, because our words create our world. What Raquel's, setbacks. We have been working for a while on perfect example of, finding out what's happening with our audio, what's happening with regards to connection. And we're going to grab her back in. Did you make it, sis? I think she's back in. Perfect. But yes, Susan, I agree about the course correction. That is the way that you see that. That's awesome. And start looking at, in that setback, what's missing. We did that as a team. What's missing? What are some of the pieces that are missing? And when Susan says the presence of which would make a difference, that's really about a way of being. So, when you're talking about a way of being, that is like, who are you being? It's usually an adjective that describes the way you're being. It's like your energy level, if you can describe it in an adjective. Are you being empowering? Are you being, facetious? Are you being like that way? If you're going to say, I'm being empowering, then you're going to surround your, every action that you're going to take in an empowering way. So a way of being is a whole other conversation we can get into, but take a look at how you're being when it comes to a setback. I think that worked out with Raquel before. Her way of being, like, she was in ease and flow. She was clear. Nothing was going to bother her about, missing that particular workshop she registered for. She was like empowered, and she was like, I'm ready. I'm in. I'm 100% doing this. So this is great. Hey, sis, welcome back.
Hey, talk about a setback.
And Susan, yes, that's what we were talking about. But like, so we're talking in the setback of, Susan was saying that, when she looks at it as an opportunity, as a course correction, she asks herself what's missing. And then she says the presence of which would make it different, because our words create, our reality, our world. So I was saying a way of being, it's kind of hard to describe.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what she's talking about. You know what she's talking about. But we use it as more of an adjective. So she's saying, yes, we learn that a way of being, and it also could be a doing, right? We're going to be, and we're going to do something. So the way we want to do something for me is, I need to have that adjective that has me lit up, to take action forward. And I'm not always saying I'm 100% happy, right? Like, you and I have talked about that. Raquel also knows that as well. I can get into the emotions and the feelings around it that stop me, just stop me from it. I can get very dramatic about it. But really, that way of being, like that's something that just is so much bigger than, example, had telling Raquel I had a massive headache today. I mean, massive. It has not gone away. Now I will put myself first and take care of myself. I would not be on the show if I did not think I can not do it. But old me, maybe 6, 7 years ago, would definitely be like anything, right? Like, and that's really like, why am I getting out of that? If this isn't important to me and what we're really out to do, then I wouldn't be here. And I realized I was, kind of, most of it was around fear, fear about like all of these things or what people would think. I'm past all that. So the headache's here. It's still here. I took some medicine, but I'm on. So thanks, Susan, for that. And thanks, sis, for being here.
Hey.
I'm excited as she's going to close it up that we got a great guest. We got a great guest next week. Really, really, really excited. If you guys could set your calendar, and for 8 p.m. next week, we have an incredible, incredible woman named Elisa Lynch. Not going to share anything else. I'd say don't miss it. Like, we don't say that often. I'm going to say don't miss it. That's what I want to say about that one. Because she is not even setbacks to set up.
Before we go,
yeah.
Before, I'd like to give at least one strategy. Like we've had the conversation, but you with at least one strategy, right? So how about this? How about pause and process? Take stock emotionally and mentally before you leap to a solution. Take a pause, or they say take a beat and process what is going on. That's one way, right? We're going to leave you with pause and process. Again, take stock emotionally and mentally before leaping to solutions.
I love that. Stop and
So that's one.
pause. I love it. I love it. Especially take stock in the emotional, right, piece of that, because that's where really it can get you stuck in that setback. Raise my hand on that one. So stop and pause and take some, like really just like look through everything. I love that. That is awesome. Yes, I'm so excited.
So that's something practical, something that everybody can do. You can pause and process.
Love it. I'm putting it in.
All right.
I'm going to put it in the chat, so just in case anybody forgets. Pause and process.
Pause and process. P and P.
P squared.
Exactly. I like that. But listen, we are going to continue our conversation on setbacks and how they set you up to propel you forward, turning setbacks into setups. Sometimes the detour is the real route to success. So we're going to keep the conversation going. We do have a guest next week, as Reg was saying. And listen, this journey that we are on, we do not do it alone. We do not take it for granted. But we do know that together we can rise and thrive. Till next time.